Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of US 1-cent coins, also known as pennies, featuring 4 standout years that collectors love to explore. From the 1973 penny in fine condition to the 1985 in good shape, the 1993 circulating example, and even a 1988 piece in poor condition, each coin tells its own unique story. Showcasing the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, these coins may seem ordinary at first glance, but their condition, history, and hidden details can make them surprisingly valuable. Let's uncover what makes these top 4 rare pennies worth a closer look. Let's start. If you've ever come across a 1973 1-cent coin tucked away in an old jar or passed down through family hands, you might be holding a small but fascinating piece of American history. Today, we're diving into the story and value of the 1973 Lincoln Memorial Cent in fine condition, a coin that may look ordinary at first glance but continues to capture the attention of collectors across the country. Its steady demand in the coin market gives it a special place among vintage pennies, especially for those who appreciate coins with both historical and collectible appeal. Back in 1973, the United States was going through a period of economic adjustment and cultural change, and this humble penny was part of everyday life for millions of Americans. Minted in large numbers, it was produced primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, with additional coins from Denver and San Francisco. Despite its common origin, the survival of coins in fine condition today makes them more desirable than worn-out examples. Over time, collectors have come to value these coins not just for their face value, but for their connection to a specific era in American history. Looking closely at the design, the front of the coin proudly features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and leadership. His portrait has been a staple on the penny since 1909. Making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic Lincoln Memorial, representing strength and national pride. The fine condition of a 1973 penny means that many of these details remain clearly visible, with moderate wear but still enough sharpness to appreciate the craftsmanship. Culturally, this coin represents more than just currency. It reflects decades of American tradition and continuity. The presence of Lincoln connects generations, while the memorial on the back ties the coin to the nation's capital and its enduring values. Coins like this often serve as entry points for new collectors, offering both affordability and a meaningful connection to the past. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1973 1-cent coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and is composed primarily of copper, giving it that classic reddish-brown appearance. This weight and composition were standard for pennies of that era before later changes in metal content. These details are important for collectors, as authenticity and originality play a major role in determining a coin's appeal and value. Key facts about this coin include its wide circulation, multiple mint locations, and its place within the long-running Lincoln Cent series. While it is not considered extremely rare, coins preserved in fine condition stand out because many examples from that time have been heavily worn or damaged. This balance between availability and condition is what drives collector interest and keeps demand steady in the marketplace. When it comes to rarity and condition, a 1973 penny in fine condition sits in an interesting position. It's not scarce in absolute numbers, but finding one that has been well preserved without significant scratches or discoloration adds to its desirability. Collectors often look for coins with consistent color, minimal marks, and clearly visible design elements, all of which contribute to higher perceived value. As for the current market value, these coins typically trade for modest amounts in dollars, often ranging from around 10 cents to $1 depending on eye appeal and exact condition. However, in the world of enthusiastic collectors and online marketplaces, some sellers list them with eye-catching asking prices in British currency, sometimes reaching £100, £250, or even £500, which in numbers would be £100, £250, and £500. While these higher figures are often optimistic or speculative, they highlight the growing excitement and perceived potential surrounding vintage coins like this one. For collectors, the best approach is to focus on quality and authenticity. Always examine the coin carefully, store it in a protective holder to prevent further wear, and consider building a complete set of Lincoln cents for greater long-term value. Patience and knowledge are key, as the coin market can fluctuate, and understanding grading standards can make a significant difference in buying or selling decisions. In the end, the 1973 1-cent coin in fine condition is a perfect example of how even the smallest pieces of currency can hold lasting value and meaning. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin offers a blend of history, affordability, and steady demand that keeps it relevant in today's market. With the right care and a bit of luck, even a simple penny like this can become a treasured part of a growing collection. Number 2. The 1985 US 1-cent coin stands out as a fascinating piece that many collectors are now beginning to appreciate in a whole new way. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny, but in today's growing collector market, even a 1985 penny in good condition can spark real excitement. With renewed interest in vintage copper-plated coins, this humble cent is gaining attention for both its story and its surprising value potential. The 1985 1-cent coin was produced by the United States Mint during a period when American coinage had already transitioned to a copper-plated zinc composition, a change that began in 1982. This coin reflects a modern era of minting, yet still carries the timeless design that has been part of U.S. currency for generations. Millions were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, making it common in circulation at the time, but as years pass, well-preserved examples are becoming harder to find. On the front, or obverse, the coin features the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been in use since 1909. His calm and dignified expression represents leadership, unity, and resilience, values deeply rooted in American culture. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1985 complete the obverse design. On the reverse, you'll find the classic Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of national pride and remembrance, with "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" clearly displayed. This combination of imagery gives the coin both artistic beauty and historical meaning. Culturally, the 1985 penny reflects a time when physical currency played a stronger role in daily transactions, long before the dominance of digital payments. It represents an era of economic transition and modernization in the United States. For collectors, it's more than just currency. It's a small piece of everyday life from the mid-1980s, connecting generations through something as simple as pocket change. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1985 1-cent coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams and is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. This composition gives it its familiar reddish-brown appearance, although coins in circulation often develop darker tones over time. A coin in good condition will still show clear details, moderate shine, and only light wear on high points like Lincoln's hair and the memorial steps. Key facts about this coin reveal that while it is not considered extremely rare, condition plays a major role in its desirability. Coins that have been preserved carefully without heavy scratches, corrosion, or discoloration are far more attractive to collectors. Additionally, certain mint errors, though uncommon, can significantly increase value, making some 1985 pennies worth far more than expected. Now, looking at the market value, a standard 1985 1-cent coin in good condition typically holds a modest value of around 5 cents to 25 cents in today's U.S. market. However, in the world of collectors and speculative trading, some listings and private sales have pushed perceived values much higher. In British currency, this translates roughly to 4 pence to 20 pence under normal conditions. Yet in high-demand scenarios or exaggerated listings, you may see prices claimed in the hundreds, such as £150, £150, £250, £250, or even £500, £500, especially when sellers promote them as rare finds or unique collectibles. While these higher figures are not typical, they reflect the growing hype and interest surrounding vintage pennies. For collectors, the key is patience and attention to detail. Always examine the coin's surface, edges, and clarity of design before considering its value. Storing coins in protective holders, avoiding moisture, and keeping them away from direct handling can help maintain their condition over time. It's also wise to stay informed about market trends and understand the difference between realistic values and inflated listings. In the end, the 1985 1-cent coin proves that even the smallest denomination can hold meaningful value, both historically and financially. Whether you're a beginner collector or someone rediscovering old coins, this penny offers a unique blend of affordability, nostalgia, and potential. As demand continues to grow, what was once overlooked spare change could become a sought-after collectible, making now the perfect time to take a closer look at the coins you already have. Number 3. A 1993 1-cent coin. But today, we're taking a closer look at this humble penny from the United States and uncovering why collectors are paying more attention to it than ever before. Even in circulating condition, this coin has its own charm, history, and a growing presence in the collector's market that might just surprise you. The 1993 1-cent coin was produced by the United States Mint during a time when pennies were still widely used in everyday transactions. By this point, the design featuring Abraham Lincoln had already become one of the longest-running designs in American coinage history. Introduced in 1909, the Lincoln cent had evolved slightly over the decades, but by 1993 it maintained its classic and recognizable appearance, making it both familiar and historically meaningful to millions of Americans. On the front, or obverse, the coin proudly displays the profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, symbolizing leadership, unity, and resilience. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" frame his portrait, along with the year 1993. On the reverse, or tail side, you'll find the iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to one of the nation's most respected presidents. This design, used from 1959 to 2008, even includes a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a detail that collectors often admire for its craftsmanship. Culturally and historically, the 1993 penny represents a continuation of American tradition and identity. It reflects a period before the major design change in 2009, and it stands as a small but powerful reminder of how everyday objects can carry deep national significance. Coins like this connect generations, linking the past to the present in a way that few other items can. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1993 1-cent coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams and is composed mainly of zinc with a thin copper plating. This composition was introduced in 1982, replacing the older, heavier copper pennies. Despite its lightweight nature, the coin remains durable enough to survive years of circulation while still retaining visible details. Looking at key facts, billions of these coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, making them common in general circulation. However, what makes certain 1993 pennies stand out is their condition, mint marks, and the possibility of rare errors. Coins with minimal wear, strong details, and original luster can attract significantly more attention from collectors compared to heavily worn examples. When we talk about rarity and condition, a standard 1993 penny in circulated condition is generally considered common. However, demand increases when the coin is well preserved or shows unique characteristics such as off-center strikes or doubling errors. These variations can turn an ordinary coin into something much more desirable in the eyes of collectors. As for the current market value, a typical 1993 1-cent coin in circulating condition may be worth around 1 cent to 10 cents in US dollars, depending on its appearance. However, in the collector's market, especially when presented in an exciting and high-demand context, some listings and speculative values can reach £100 to £300, which is approximately 100 to 300 British pounds. In numerical form, that's about 100, 150, 200, or even 300 pounds being mentioned in certain collector discussions, especially for coins claimed to have unique traits or exceptional preservation. While these higher figures are often exaggerated or based on rare cases, they still reflect the growing interest and hype around coins from this era. For collectors, the key is to carefully examine each coin and look for details that set it apart. Keeping coins in protective holders, avoiding cleaning them, and learning to pahchan mint marks and errors can make a big difference in long-term value. Even a common coin like the 1993 penny can become a valuable addition to a collection when treated with care and attention. In the end, the 1993 1-cent coin is more than just spare change. It's a piece of American history, a symbol of tradition, and a potential hidden gem waiting to be rediscovered. With increasing interest in coin collecting and the excitement of finding rare variations, this small copper-plated coin continues to capture attention in a big way. So next time you come across a 1993 penny, take a closer look. You might be holding more than just a cent in your hand. Number 4. The 1988 United States 1-cent coin, especially in poor condition, and exploring how even a worn-out coin can still attract attention from collectors. While many people overlook coins that show heavy wear, the truth is that every piece carries a story, and sometimes even the most circulated examples can hold hidden appeal in the collector's market. The 1988 penny comes from a long tradition of U.S. coinage that has featured the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln since 1909. By 1988, the coin was already part of everyday American life, produced in large numbers for circulation. This particular year did not mark a major design change, but it falls within an important era when the composition of the penny had already shifted from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc core, a change that began in 1982. This makes the 1988 coin part of the modern penny series, yet still connected to the legacy of earlier coins that were made with higher copper content. On the front side, or the heads, the coin displays the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1988. Even in poor condition, this design remains recognizable, although the finer details like Lincoln's hair and facial features may appear worn down. On the reverse side, or the tails, the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 until 2008. In heavily circulated condition, the columns of the memorial may be faint, and the small depiction of Lincoln seated inside might no longer be visible, yet the overall structure still tells its story of American heritage. Culturally and historically, the 1988 penny represents continuity rather than change. It reflects a time when physical currency was still dominant in everyday transactions, long before digital payments became widespread. Coins like this were handled by millions of people, passed through countless hands, and used in daily purchases. That shared history adds a subtle but meaningful value, especially for collectors who appreciate the journey each coin has taken. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1988 1-cent coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Its copper-plated zinc composition means that, even in poor condition, the coin may show signs of corrosion, discoloration, or surface damage. These factors reduce its collectible grade, but they also highlight its authenticity as a well-used piece of currency. When it comes to rarity, the 1988 penny is generally considered common, as billions were minted across different facilities. However, condition plays a major role in determining value. A coin in poor condition, often referred to as good, or lower in grading terms, typically has heavy wear, scratches, and reduced detail. Despite this, collectors sometimes seek out such coins to complete sets or for educational purposes, especially if they display unique wear patterns or minor mint errors. Looking at today's market, a standard 1988 penny in poor condition usually holds a modest value of around 1 cent to 10 cents in US dollars. However, in the world of online listings and enthusiastic sellers, you may occasionally see exaggerated or hyped prices. For example, some listings might claim values of £100, £250, or even £500, which in numbers would be 100, 250, or 500 British pounds. While these figures are not realistic for a regular worn coin, they reflect the excitement and perceived demand that can sometimes surround everyday coins. In reality, only coins with rare errors or exceptional features would approach higher values. For collectors, the key is to stay informed and observant. Even a 1988 penny in poor condition can be worth keeping if it shows something unusual, such as a double die, off-center strike, or other minting error. It's also wise to store coins properly to prevent further damage and to compare them with verified examples before making any buying or selling decisions. Patience and knowledge often matter more than the condition of the coin itself. In the end, the 1988 1-cent coin proves that value isn't always about perfection. Even a heavily worn piece can carry historical significance and a small but meaningful place in the collector's world. While it may not make you instantly wealthy, it can certainly spark curiosity and appreciation for the everyday objects that connect us to the past. And sometimes, that connection is worth far more than the coin's face value.